Can I be honest with y'all real quick? I don't really like the church. Maybe that's not how I should have started this video, but it's exactly what I mean, and I don't want you to take it out of context. Why? It's not that I don't like the church and what it's supposed to stand for. It's that I really dislike what people have made it over the years, and more or less, it's the most
money-makingest,
scammiest thing I've realized out there with most churches. I won't say that with all. Well, Javon, you probably don't like the church because when the pastor speaks to you, you probably feel judged because you didn't grow up around it. So everything the pastor says, you feel like that it's applying to you. So therefore, you don't like going to an environment where you feel judged. No, not at all. See, on the contrary, I've been in a situation where the pastor specifically was judging me, and they used to air out an abundance of real life issues in the sermons. It's not that I don't like church. It's that I peep game. By the way, Alex is back.
It's Levin. Yeah. Bitch, don't speak to me unless your tone nice. Like my liquor brown and chased with no ice. Okay, maybe just a cube or two. Hennessy's the usual. Lemon squeeze around the rim, but tonight needed suitable. Gold slugs in a tailored suit. Gold nut, pinky finger. Ooh, you try to show fake love, but we ain't amused. So we show.
How old are you? She goes, I'll be 14 in 2 months. Do I believe in God? Yes. Do I believe that there's a heaven and hell? Most likely, yes. So why don't you like the church? I would love to have the proper church experience, and I've had some good experiences at church. Shout out to you, Dan. Tell me if you heard this one before. You're a new person at church. You get introduced to the pastor. They tell you to sit at a specific place, and then they call your name expecting for you to introduce yourself as if you're going to be a new member of the church, and you have to tell them your life story. So now that everyone knows, if you don't put any money in the little basket. Wait. I'm saying baskets like it's still old, like I'm still a child. No, it's not baskets no more. Churches got ATMs now. Y'all take PayPal, y'all take debit, y'all take credit cards at times. I'm not joking. That's something I really have experienced. Even though I wasn't about Alex and everything she was, I got my first experience at church with her and with her family. First off, I didn't know that church was the place where people go to hook up, but apparently that's where the hoes at, men and women. Why would you need me to go to church with you in order for you to get some? That has nothing to do with me. Digressing. One of the things that I hated most at the time while going to this church with Alex and my homeboy Don and her cousin was the pastor. Oh, Pastor Jackson. Pastor Jackson, he rode in a Rolls Royce while being a pastor at a church that wasn't making no profit. We would go all types of places and he would just spend the money in cash. He wouldn't even use the tax exempt because it's a church. And one day, Alex is talking to me before church, asking me why won't I give her a chance and that it has to be more to it because it can't just be that she's underaged. Yeah, we're back to that conversation. So after I break it out to her for like the 10th time, she ends up crying somewhere. And to me, I'm like, good. That means she got the message and I ain't got to worry about it no more. So we're sitting there in church. And old Pastor Jackson speaking about the devil's temptation to our young men and how it makes them speak of hellish things, crushing young women, especially young black women's dreams, and making sure that we don't have a strong future and that you need to be ashamed of yourself. You don't know how to speak to individuals. And to me, I'm just, I'm sitting there looking, I'm like, oh man, whoever pissed off Pastor Jackson, they getting it right now. And then as I'm looking around, I noticed that he's looking at me, and the people at church, they looking at me. Why? Wait, why are y'all looking at me? And so he continues with his sermon. People who refuse to look past the surface, ignore their life's blessings, and cannot look at God's light so that they can witness God's creation. Thyself should be ashamed for denying the Lord's will. And the more he's talking, I know this bitch is not making a sermon about me. Oh, it gets better. Homie goes, we have new young brothers to this establishment, and we need them to understand that God sees the ugly. Oh, this hoe's talking to me. Oh. So it doesn't go well after that. So we're still in the middle of a church. And I stand up, I say, Pastor Jackson, the Lord is willing me to speak right now. He says, preach on, Brother Franklin, preach on. Come up here and say what you need to say in the Lord's house. I say, no, Brother Jackson, I'm going to say it right here. Fuck you. And I walk out. That's not what I should have did. And I understand that, and that might make me not that well. For the record, that's not all I said. I really got in saying that like this whole place is a scam and that y'all should be ashamed of yourself. And why would you try to push someone who is clearly underage onto an older man, knowing the optics and what it looks like, and the fact that I'm black? Why is this a thing for you? Age is nothing but a number, Brother Franklin. I need to leave. Don, let's go. But we would just, bro, get your ass on. We going. Pastor Jackson goes out to Don. He's like, Brother Don, are you going to leave with the devil and take a ride straight to hell? Or are you going to stay in the Lord's light? He thought about it. He actually thought about it because I was his ride. So I'm ready to go. And as he sat there contemplating his options, and he turned back and went into the church. This Negro tried to come to my house the next day saying, bro, I had to make it look good because she was going to give me something afterward. I said, bitch, get out my house. Don't come here. Don't come here. I ate that shit. I ate all of that catfish shit just so you can get some. And you ain't even get none yet. I had no idea that there was a requirement when it came to donations and what you decide to give to the house. This is before I learned what tithes are and how you're expected to give between 10 to 30% of your paycheck to the Lord, regardless of whatever it's going to. There was this church I went to, and I went there a couple of times, and then I realized of how much of a business this was. Because I have a film background, I knew exactly how much. They had $15,000 cameras on every setup, and there were 10 of them, and they had ATMs in the church. And I'll never forget this day. While everyone loves this man and loves this church and everything about it, but the one thing that stayed in my mind the most, as soon as you arrive at the church, they give you 2 envelopes. One's a white one and one's a blue one. The white one's for the church because, you know, holy light, spirit, things like that. But the blue one's for the pastor and his family. There was 2 lines in this church. And I remember this day like it was yesterday. The pastor stops accepting donations and he gets on the microphone. All right, now we got to cut this bull crap out. Listen, $1 is not a proper donation. $2 is not a proper donation. Any donations from this day forward are required to be $5 or more. Can I get an amen? And people was like, amen. And I was like, oh. You know, I was going to give you $2, but now I'm going to step out of line. So I stepped out of line because to me, I was like, oh, that's BS. That's bullshit. These very nice fitted gentlemen came to follow me and was like, hey, Brother Franklin, what seems to be the problem? Is there an issue in the line? I'm like, oh, no. I just need to go to the bathroom. Oh, you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure I need to go to the bathroom. I suddenly had like a stomach ache and I need to go. And then I'm like, oh, I left my keys. It was like, oh, well, if you left your keys, you coming right back, right? So it don't matter. I said, I need to check something in the car real quick before I do anything else. So I need to make sure I have enough money because there's a new stipulation saying that it needs to be $5 and up. So I need to make sure I have that. They're like, oh, you know what? Cool. You're right. Are you sure you don't need to use the ATM that's right outside the facility that's in the church's name? I'm positive I have the money. They're like, okay, cool. We'll be waiting on you. I never felt like I needed to leave as badly as I did then. So I got in my car. I waved at them. They waved at me back thinking that, you know, I got money and I'm coming back in. And I just left. I've never experienced more bullying, more peer pressure, more struggle than I have at church. Apparently this is a thing that happens in more churches than I care to admit. And for those I don't know, you're probably like, Javon, you probably didn't find the right church for you. Well, I've been to 10 of them. There's nothing new underneath the sun. And if we're all God's people, shouldn't you treat us the way you want to be treated? Or is that just a school thing? It's like we haven't learned anything. I don't want to push my church experiences onto you guys as if this is the way that all churches are. No, not at all. There's a lot of great establishments out there, and I'm sure that people are delivering the Lord's word as well as anyone else. And for those, I salute you. I'm just telling you, there's few far and in between for me experiencing the church and what it's supposed to mean. I hate what most people have turned it into, which is a profit. My first time of experiencing BS at the church was the time we got to go to Summer Waves. This was my first church experience. I've been going here for maybe 3 weeks, and I've been going with my friend's family. My mom didn't raise us in the church because she felt like if we wanted to choose the church, we can. But you could talk to the Lord wherever you are. He listens. That's how I was raised. So they take our money for Summer Waves before we get on the bus. And apparently this was supposed to be something that was already covered and everything. And to me, I felt like it was sketch because I'm like, I just found out about this today. So you telling me that they can already get my tickets and everything before we get there? Situated. We already got this taken care of. The church got it. Okay, cool. You just got to pay for your way in and we'll pay for the food. All right. Cool. It's all good. We get all the way up there. The pastor never made the call to make the church order for the tickets. So we all gave the pastor the money, and it's 2-3 busfuls of kids and chaperones from the church. And they all get up to the booth and they're telling them what church they from. And they're like, we don't have any tickets for y'all. And the pastor starts getting upset, thinking that this was somebody else's job. He says, if you are a person of God, you will work with me. Allow us to make a deal so that we can have a good day in the Lord's name. He wanted to get a discount on, but he couldn't prove that he was a part of a church. So they couldn't give him no kind of deal, which makes sense in a business standpoint. He got upset and completely went off on these people. We didn't go to Summer Waves. I mean, we arrived there. We showed up in front, but we ain't go in. We get all the way back, right? And they're giving us this speech of, you know what? The Lord has better plans for us. We're going to have our own day next weekend, and we're going to have a good time and we're going to party. And because I'm not a member of the church, you know, I'm like, okay, that's cool. But I gave y'all money to go to Summer Waves and we're not going to Summer Waves. So am I getting that money back? They told me that they're going to donate the money that I gave for these tickets so that we all can have a good time at church next weekend. But I didn't give y'all money for next weekend. I gave y'all money for Summer Waves. And if we're not going to Summer Waves, I would like my money back. They said no, because that's not how the church works. Once when you give your money to the Lord, we decide where that money goes. Oh, I didn't have all my black senses then, but the one thing I knew very well is when someone's jipping me. So I did what I do in most situations where I feel threatened, when I feel like I'm out of my league, and when I feel like an adult is mistreating me. I threatened to call my mama. They said that I was a hellspawn. They said that I was a demon and then I was not allowed back into that church. The pastor himself told me that. But then when we got back and he was announcing why I needed to leave and go home, he wouldn't tell them the truth. He wouldn't tell them that I wanted my money back and that he refused to give it to me. I looked at that whole thing and I really thought about calling and telling my mom that. No one would have got peace. So I ask you all to be mindful. And when you speak, say what you believe in. And don't worry, I won't take what you have to say harshly. I'm not the one that needs convincing.
Gotta be more than cars and money. You attract more